Okay, I believe we are live. I'm going to wait a few seconds just to make sure it's all good and get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, this is history in the making. I am live on YouTube. This is absolutely happening. I'm just checking that I am. Yes, I am live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marcus Loves Movies. Welcome to the first ever live stream. This is a historic moment. I know that thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, millions of creators have done this already, but this is the first for me. This is the first time I am going live. It is Wednesday, August the 31st, 2022, and this is the first ever Marcus Loves Movies live stream. I am excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but this is really cool. I just wanted to put my headphones in to check that we are actually live, and we are, so this is all good. So to the millions and millions of you that are watching right now, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the live stream. Listen, you may stumble on this video at this moment. You might stumble on it a few days, weeks down the line, but let me introduce myself very, very quickly. My name is Marcus Lee. I'm a filmmaker. My company is called Real Street Productions, so I'm based in West Yorkshire in United Kingdom, if you know where that is. So I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing that for 15 years. Obviously, as well as making films, I love films. I love going to the cinema. I love watching films. I've got a Cineworld Unlimited card, and actually Cineworld should probably pay me for the amount of films that I've been to see. So I've made it my thing over the past 15 years to see as many films as possible. So I try and normally see 6 or 7 films per month, as well as seeing films on Netflix and Amazon Prime and all of that good stuff. So absolutely love movies. And as a result of that, a couple of years ago, I started this YouTube channel, Marcus Loves Movies. And that is my opportunity basically just to come on here, talk about films, talk about movies that I love, talk about new movies. So do movie reviews, do trailer reactions. So I'll be doing that for a little while. And really now just thinking, yeah, it is fun, but let's build a real community. Let's build an audience. So I thought, let's do some YouTube lives and let's meet some people. That'd be a really cool thing to do. Let's have some interaction. Let's have some live chat. Let's have all of that good stuff. So thinking about the first thing that I wanted to do on this live stream is talk about a show which has just ended. Well, just ended a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago. And that show is Better Call Saul. So if you are a Better Call Saul, this is the perfect video for you to watch because I've really enjoyed that show, but I really enjoyed Breaking Bad. So the purpose of this video is to talk about these two shows, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, put them side by side and let's discuss which of the two shows do we think is the best. So let's rewind, let's go back to when Breaking Bad started. By the way, can I just say, if you are tuning in, I'm going to say this a number of times. Please, would you consider liking this video? Please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel if you do like movie reviews and trailer reactions and film discussion, all that good stuff. I make my attempt to do that here, so please tune in. Check out some of the other videos on the YouTube channel as well. There's lots of other movie reviews and trailer reactions on there, so please tune in, check that out. That'd be really good. So let's go back to Breaking Bad and how it all began for me. Now, I'm one of those people, I don't like to jump on a bandwagon. When everyone says, this show's brilliant, this show's absolutely amazing, I'm a bit like, yeah, I don't want to follow the crowd for the sake of following the crowd. So I'll make my own judgment when the time is right. So I didn't actually start watching Breaking Bad until all 5 seasons had finished. I was right at the end. I was very late to the party. I remember on Facebook at the time, a bunch of friends were saying, oh, it's Breaking Bad finale tonight. And I was like, don't really care, don't really know what that is, not massively fussed. So I was really late to the party. And I started watching it after then, and going back at this time, so it ended in 2013, and in 2013, like 9 years ago, you got to think about how much things have changed in the past 9 years, the past decade. You had to watch things on DVD, or if you were dodgy, unlike me, you had to go find some online stream so you could watch it that way. So there was none of this, on-demand wasn't like it is today. So I started finding ways to watch Breaking Bad, and I was watching the first couple of episodes, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. I probably watched the first 3 episodes, and I thought, this is good, but it's quite a slow burner. I didn't appreciate the slow burn thing like I do now. And I think I took a break after that. I don't think I watched it for a while, probably because I was having some issues trying to get hold of watching it, say no more. So I watched the first 3 episodes, and then I don't want to say the rest is history because I really started enjoying it. And I got into it. The first season was only 7 episodes. Absolutely loved it. From there, the rest of the set is history. Yeah, went into season 2, season 3. Really started binge watching it, loving it. You know, I'd go to bed at night, or I'd be about to go to bed. I'm thinking, right, it's like midnight. I'm going to watch one 40-minute episode of Breaking Bad. Then I'll go to bed. But then the show would end on a cliffhanger, or it would end on such a pivotal, special moment that I thought, oh man, I've got to watch one more. So that was my Breaking Bad experience, and absolutely loved it. It was just absolutely fantastic. One thing I loved about, I mean, there's several things that I loved about Breaking Bad, but one of the things that I absolutely loved was the cinematography. And I think everyone who's watched it, if you're a film geek or a film buff or you love your TV, you notice how special the cinematography is on Breaking Bad. You know, the way they put the camera in certain places, the way they move it around, the way they tell the story, just the cinematography, as well as the desert, the landscapes, Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was just beautifully shot and just very, very creative. And, you know, Vince Gilligan, a guy who I'd not heard before, who created the show, wrote it, directed it, I just thought he came up with something absolutely, absolutely beautiful. The story itself, I just thought was absolutely original, great. I know people make references to the show Weeds, which, if I'm honest, I've never seen. But the idea of this high school teacher who discovers that he's about to die, he's got cancer, and he thinks, I know, I'll turn to selling meth to make money for my family if I'm not here anymore. What a weird, wacky, original idea. And this idea that he gets into it just to make some money, but then he really, really starts to enjoy what he's doing. He's got this dark side to him where the darkness sort of comes out. And I loved what Vince Gilligan said about, you know, this character, Walter White, the main character. It's how do you turn a guy who's like Mr. Chips, who's a really nice, cute character, and turn him into Scarface. And, you know, it's rare that we see characters turning badly over a number of seasons. Normally we start off with someone who's a baddie and they're not likable, or they're a protagonist but they're antagonist as well, and you start to love them, you start to really like them. This was the opposite for the first time in my lifetime that I can think of, where you're watching a show with a character who's the main protagonist and you just watch him Breaking Bad, you watch him start to turn bad, and by the end of it you're thinking, oh my gosh, I do not like you. I do not like you at all. I thought it was just a really interesting, great character. You know, a character that I still think about today, that I still, you know, watch and that kind of thing. Really interesting to watch this family man and his journey into darkness. You know, at the start of this season, of season 1, I remember there's a point, I think it's in episode 1, where Walter is a guy who's obviously having a hard time. Financially, his family are struggling. Then he gets the diagnosis that he's ill. There's a moment in that first episode where he goes into a shop with his wife, Skylar, and his son, Walt Jr., and I think there's some other kids who are making fun of Walt Jr. because he's got a disability and he's struggling to try on these pants. And there's a moment where Walt Sr. then goes out, finds these kids, and basically, you know, is violent towards them. And it's like this little seed of this darkness that maybe we've all got. You know, if someone's attacking your family or making fun of your family, you're going to stand up and you're going to rise up and you're going to want to defend them. So maybe it's not darkness, but there's that sense of rage and anger that you think, no, actually, don't disrespect my family, and you can turn and dark. But the way that Breaking Bad continued, it made me think, gosh, maybe we've all got a dark side. Maybe there's darkness inside all of us, because Walter seems to start off pretty decent, but then he really turns bad. And it makes you think, are all of us capable of that? Can we all do that? I mean, I'd like to think that we're not all capable of becoming dark drug dealers and that kind of thing. Maybe Walt had some real darkness in him, but it's just an interesting thing to see how we can all turn dark. I also thought it was really interesting, another interesting character study, because at the start, Walter is struggling financially. He's a teacher and he's got a second job in a car wash. And, you know, he's teaching in class and the students are rude to him, but then he has to go to his second job where he works in a car wash. And then one of those students turns up in a very nice car, and Walter, the teacher, has to wash his own student's car. It's like, it's kind of disrespectful, and the students are laughing, and it's not a nice thing. And the way I associate that with that is that I think, I'm an independent filmmaker, I'm a freelance filmmaker, or I've been that for many years, and you think, gosh, I'm just trying to make some money. Freelance work sometimes is hard to come by. and that thing of, oh, I just want to get out of this dark situation. So I want to make a lot of money so that I never have to worry about finances again. And I think that's where Walter is at the start of that show. He just wants to make money to get out. It's not necessarily about the cancer or the illness, but he's thinking, I just want to make enough money just for once. So I kind of relate to that. Also at the start of the show, listen, I'm talking about the show as if some of you have never seen it, but listen, just reminisce with me if you're a fan. Let's just reminisce together, right? So at the start of the season 1, he's talking about how, yes, he's ill. He hooks up with Jesse Pinkman, who we all know. And he's saying, you know what, I just need to make, I think he wants to make $700,000 at that time. He just wants to make $700,000, enough money for the mortgage, insurances, and it'll cover Skylar and Walt Jr. And then he's out. He'll make enough money by cooking meth, and then he's out of it. And that obviously doesn't pan out because he really gets into it. He goes deeper. He has to cook more for the people above him, and then he starts to generate more money. And as the show progresses, obviously, he's making millions and tens of millions. He's making a lot of money. So it goes off in that direction. I just thought this was a show that got better as it went along. It's rare, it's very rare that you have a show that has 6 seasons, 10 seasons, 4 seasons, and you know, there's not a dip somewhere. It's rare that it consistently gets better and better. Thinking about Walking Dead, for example. Really enjoyed watching The Walking Dead. I think we're on season 11 now, but there were probably moments in season 6, 7, 8 where you thought, yeah, it's kind of, you're losing me again. And then I think season 9 came back, and season 9 was so much better. It was like it just had new life breathed into it. But it's rare that you get a show which is consistently good and consistently it gets better. And that's what I thought about Breaking Bad. I thought Breaking Bad season 4 was one of the best seasons. That's when you've got Gus Fring in the mix, where Gus Fring has been a real threat. Things are getting darker. Jesse and Walt aren't getting on. Skylar gets involved in the mix of, you know, what we've got to do to make all this money. By the way, can I just say this? Probably should have said this at the start. There are going to be some spoilers in this video, okay? So if you come to this and you've never seen Breaking Bad, can I encourage you to watch the show? I'll try not to be blatant, but come on. Breaking Bad's been out for 9 years, so I'm hoping that you know some of it, or maybe you've seen parodies, so you kind of get an idea of where the show is going and what it's all about. So season 4, I thought was really good. And then you get to season 5, the last season they were going to make, and you're thinking, okay, they're probably going to run out of ideas or run out of steam at some point. But again, season 5 was absolutely, absolutely fantastic. A season that I didn't want to end. I thought, this show is absolutely brilliant. Don't want the show to end. It's absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Season 5, episode 14. I think the episode is called Ozymandias. I had to write it down because I wasn't sure how to read it out properly. It's considered as one of the greatest episodes of TV of all time. I jumped on IMDb. It's always had high ratings. I jumped on it before I came on this live stream. It's got a 10 out of 10 rating, a user rating on IMDb. It's like TV perfection. And honestly, Ozymandias, episode 14, season 5 is one of the best things you will ever see on TV. It's great writing, great direction, great cinematography, great acting, and maybe it's because it's the culmination of all of these things, you know, 5 years of this absolutely fantastic show, this story starting to tie itself up. I just thought, yeah, it's TV perfection. So I absolutely loved Breaking Bad. I loved the characters. I loved Walter White. There were other characters who weren't as likable, but you know, not every character is meant to be likable. But I just thought Breaking Bad was a fantastic show. Prior to that, one of my favourite shows was 24. Prior to that, one of my favourite shows was The Wire. And I gotta say, I love those shows, but Breaking Bad for me is one of the greatest shows of all time. I love it. I even made, going back now, I even made a mixtape. I made a musical mixtape, a hip-hop musical mixtape about Breaking Bad, because in my younger days, I was an MC, I was a rapper, so I was performing, I was writing songs, and I made a mixtape called Remember My Name. It's probably still out there online, actually. I might stick a link to it in this video in the description underneath, where I just rapped this story of Breaking Bad and Walter White and his journey from light to darkness. Absolutely love the show, had a massive impact on me. So that is what I think about Breaking Bad. So when you have what I think is one of the best shows of all time, and then you get a spin-off called Better Call Saul, how does that marry up to it? How does that match up? Because often when you have a spin-off, production companies, studios think we'll make a spin-off because this product has been really good and people really liked it and we could probably make some more money so we can get some more ratings, more viewers, so let's make a spin-off. I don't always think spin-offs are a good idea. So, you know, you have something like Cheers and you get a spin-off called Frasier, and actually it turns out really well. It's like, great, oh, the spin-off has worked and it's gone so much better than maybe we all thought as an audience. But then you've also got a show like Friends, and you get a spin-off called Joey, and it's a bit of a letdown. So, you know, spin-offs sometimes work, sometimes they don't. So when I heard that Better Call Saul was coming, it was going to be the story of Saul Goodman and his character journey, I was like, okay, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Breaking Bad is great. How are you going to top Breaking Bad? So now we're going to talk about Better Call Saul. I'm actually going to take a sip of water. I'm checking that everything is all good. Yeah, still live, still running. So yeah, talking about Better Call Saul, because the whole idea of this video is which of these is better? Did Better Call Saul change my life? Like I've said, I thought Breaking Bad was the greatest show of all time. How do I feel now that Better Call Saul is in the mix? I will discuss that in a second. I'm going to take a sip of my water. What I'll also say at this stage is, listen, quick reminder, please like, comment, subscribe on this video. Would really appreciate your support. I know that literally 2 people are watching this right now, but you know what? More people might watch this later on, but please support the channel. Would really appreciate your support. Would appreciate the love. Let's grow a community. Let's chat. Tell me what you think of the show. Would love to know all of that good stuff. So, moving on to Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul, which is a show that it's a spin-off. Not sure it's the show that I think we need. That was my thought. I'm going to turn myself down a bit because I think I'm peaking a touch. So Better Call Saul comes out. It's a spin-off about the life of Jimmy McGill, aka Saul Goodman. Having finished watching Breaking Bad, you know that his journey is that he has to go off into the distance. He's living a life because of the events of Breaking Bad. So the spin-off of Breaking Bad is that, okay, we're going back in time now. It's a prequel. So we're seeing how Jimmy McGill became the character Saul Goodman, who he is in Breaking Bad. So the thing with the prequel is, with the prequel, you know where the story's going to end. You have a strong idea where the story's going to end because it's a prequel to Breaking Bad. So you know that everything that happens in that prequel has to lead up to the start of Breaking Bad. So there's a sense of, I wouldn't say there's a lack of excitement, but you know what's going to happen. You've got a fair idea of what's going to happen. So I started watching Better Call Saul as soon as it came out. I thought, I've learnt my lesson from Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was a fantastic show, so let me get on the train straight away with Better Call Saul. Started watching Better Call Saul. I think at the time it was released weekly. Can't quite remember. I'm sure it was released weekly. It wasn't one of those Netflix shows where they just put out there and you can watch all 10 in a row. I'm sure it was weekly and I had to wait. And yeah, I liked Better Call Saul. I thought it was a bit of a slow start. Again, you know, still dealing with the whole slow burn thing. But I had family and friends who also started watching Better Call Saul and they probably gave up midway through season 1 or they got to season 2 and they're like, yeah, it's good, but it's a little bit slow. And I understood that, but I thought, I'm going to keep going with this. And Better Call Saul, after you've had the action of Heisenberg and, you know, the drug dealers and the Salamancas and all that kind of stuff and Gus Fring and all that kind of stuff, you're thinking, you come into Better Call Saul and it's much slower, it's much more calm and that kind of thing. So I liked it, I liked the slow burn, but I did warm to it. And I really started, you know, enjoying it. I like seeing the early days of his cons and his hustles. I like the fact that we got this occasional flash forward in black and white where we see this character called Gene, which is Saul in the future. So it's a flash forward way into the future. And I didn't think we'd see too much of that. But as the seasons went on, I just thought the show got better and better. We got to see a little bit more of Mike Ehrmantraut, who obviously was in Breaking Bad as well. I thought his character was fantastic. At one point, there were moments when I thought, oh, I'm actually more interested in seeing what Mike is doing than what Jimmy McGill is doing. Mike was a great character, really interesting to watch. So I just really liked how Better Call Saul built up. I liked watching the relationship between Jimmy and his brother Chuck. I liked seeing his early days of the cons and the hustles, all of that kind of stuff. That was great. And then what I really enjoyed, when you get to season 6 of Better Call Saul, by the way, I thought season 5 was fantastic as well, but season 6 is that we start seeing a lot more of that flash forward, but we're seeing it in black and white. So we're seeing Jimmy, who's become Saul, who has now become a character called Gene, and we're seeing his life, but we're seeing it all in black and white. And yeah, his story was really interesting. So it's almost like you see these 3 characters. It's absolutely brilliant. I gotta say, with season 5 and season 6 of Better Call Saul, those seasons to me feel like TV perfection. They absolutely do. They feel absolutely fantastic. I loved every single minute of those latter seasons. Yes, there were slow moments in some of those earlier seasons, and yes, there were moments of action as well. I'm not just there for the action, but I just absolutely loved those latter seasons. I just thought that, again, was a show that got better and better. I thought Bob Odenkirk was fantastic. Jonathan Banks, Michael Mando, Patrick Fabian, Tony Dalton, Giancarlo Esposito, just an absolutely fantastic cast. But I gotta say, especially in the latter seasons, Rhea Seehorn, who plays Kim Wexler, I thought she was brilliant, especially in that final season. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant. I know also with the pandemic, we had a bit of a break where we had to wait for those latter seasons to come out again, so that was a bit of a downer. But really excited for those latter seasons and just absolutely, absolutely brilliant. I think with Better Call Saul, more so than Breaking Bad, I'll say this, I've never felt so genuinely moved and genuinely saddened by the death of certain characters. Listen, without saying who in particular, but characters over 5-6 seasons, some major characters are gonna eventually get bumped off. And I felt genuinely sad when some of those characters, goodies, baddies, got bumped off. I'd feel that days after, I'd be thinking about it later. I'd have to go to Wikipedia and just read about it again, because there was a heavy sadness. It's like Vince Gilligan wrote these characters that you just absolutely loved, you just grew to love. They were absolutely fantastic. Even though they weren't always perfect people, they weren't always nice people, they had so much depth to them, and I just thought they were absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Maybe that's due to having spent years and years with these characters, so you grow to know them, you appreciate their stories, you appreciate where they're coming from. They're not just a bad guy and they're going pew, 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 and you're thinking, yeah, whatever. You learn to understand why they do what they do, and I just thought that is a credit to Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. Brilliant writers, absolutely brilliant characters. I thought season 6 of Better Call Saul, which is called Plan and Execution, mid-season finale, one of the best things I've seen on TV in ages. A brilliant, brilliant episode. Again, near perfection, amazingly short, great cinematography. I love, these continuous, unbroken shots where you just see an 8-minute unbroken take. It had one of those in there. Just fantastic, and it just ended on an amazing cliffhanger with Jimmy and Kim, and the arrival of, I've forgotten the character's name for a second, but Lalo is in the mix, and just that finale, Howard in the mix. Just an absolutely brilliant episode, which literally took my breath away, and I was like, ugh. And then you're left with this thing of thinking, right, I've got to wait for some more episodes to come out. I've got to wait. So that was absolutely brilliant. Overall, loved Better Call Saul. Loved it more than I thought I would. Those last few episodes again, brilliant. Yes, you had these high moments of intense action where you were constantly holding your breath. You were on the edge of your seat, and then you get these moments where it calmed down a bit, it came a bit down to earth, and it was more of a character study. It was a bit more slower paced, and you really appreciated it based on some of the high intense action that you had in previous episodes. So I thought that was really, really good. In terms of the characters then, so I'm starting to think about Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad together. Going to take another sip of water. Because talking non-stop is a challenge. At this moment, again, let me just say, listen, if you're watching this video and you get to this point where we're 27 minutes in, if you do watch this much, can I just say thank you for watching, appreciate you tuning in. Please do me a favour, please give the video a like, leave a comment in the video, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get the subscriber count up, let's get it up there, do you know what I'm saying? Help me out with the YouTube algorithm, would really appreciate your support. This is the first time, by the way, I've done a video which is uncut, unedited, you know, just going for it, so if I'm rambling, please forgive me, but listen, this is something new. This is something new. It's all good. So thinking again about the characters, thinking about the shows, let me just focus on both Walter White and and also Saul Goodman. Both of these characters, at some stage, they both go on these amazing character journeys. They go through so much over, 5 seasons, 6 seasons, respectively, with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but they go on such amazing journeys. And for me, one of the things that I loved, which is quite dark, is that I both think they have what I'm coining the Heisenberg moment. Now, if you've seen Breaking Bad, you know that Walter White uses this alias of Heisenberg, I don't want people to know my real name, so I'll call myself Heisenberg. And for me, the Heisenberg thing is that Walter White had gone so dark and he'd become such a ruthless individual that he was willing to murder, he was willing to do dark things, he was willing to let people die without any remorse, that he'd gone full Heisenberg. And for me, I call my rap mixtape Heisenberg, remember my name. He'd gone full Heisenberg, which is that he transferred into this place of such darkness that he was willing to do anything dark that is genuinely evil. And I'm thinking, yes, there were moments when Walter got involved in dark things, and sometimes that was to protect himself, sometimes it was to protect Jesse or his family, and he was genuinely gutted and he felt genuinely sick, he had genuine remorse about it, but then it's like he reached a moment where it didn't matter. He was genuinely dark. So I think about the moment for Walter in Breaking Bad when he had that genuine Heisenberg moment where I thought, oh gosh, Walter, there is no coming back for you. You are lost. He did some dark things. He did some dark things in season 3 and 4. He did some dark things with, with that, there was that kid called Brock where he poisoned him basically. He poisoned this kid, and that's pretty dark. Fortunately, Brock didn't die as a result of that. But for me, the darkest moment for me was in season 5. Again, some spoilers here, guys. I'm not trying to be blatant, but in season 5, where Walter realizes that he needs to bump off several people in a prison, but he needs to do it all in a short window of time so that they can't kind of connect the dots to each other and they can't call each other and warn each other. And he bumps off a number of people in a 2-minute window. And it's happening, and you're watching that happen in these various prisons, and you're just seeing Walter, obviously not in a prison, but he's just like somewhere else, just thinking, just chilling. And it's like, gosh, Walter is now so dark that we've lost him. We've lost him. There's no restoration for Walter. He's gone full Heisenberg. And although I didn't like that, I just thought, again, great character study. He's the darkest character. He'd met people like Mike. He'd met people like Saul Goodman at this stage. He'd met others. He'd met Gus Fring. But it's like, gosh, Walter, you are now darker than all of these people. We're at a stage now where Skylar just doesn't want to be around you. Your own wife doesn't want to be around you because you are so dark. So that for me was Walter's Heisenberg moment. And what I thought was interesting in Better Call Saul is that I felt like Saul, who by this stage is called Gene now, also has a Heisenberg moment. And for me, that moment is when he's with I can't remember the character's name, but she's played by Carol Burnett, where Gene kind of realizes his time is up, he's about to get caught, and this Carol Burnett woman can, release all the information to the police, and she's on the phone to the police, and she's old and she's frail, and she can't fight, she can barely stand up and carry herself. And Gene, aka Saul, kind of takes the phone cord and he's kind of wrapping it around like he's about to strangle her. And it's like, oh my gosh, at that moment, watching that, I was thinking, oh, Gene, Saul, Jimmy, don't do it. Jimmy, you were a nice guy. Come on, don't do this. You are going full Heisenberg. And that was the Heisenberg moment for me in Better Call Saul. So I think both of those characters have that moment. What I will also say though as well is I feel like both of those characters, even when they'd gone full Heisenberg, they also had their redeeming qualities, their redeeming moments. So again, in that episode, Ozymandias in Breaking Bad, Walter White has a moment where, you know, he's on the run from the police. He's taking his daughter Holly away from Skylar. You know, she's losing it, and he calls the police, or he calls someone, and he's like, "Listen, yeah, I'm gonna." It basically does a message where he kind of absorbs Skylar from any guilt. So even though Skylar is quite guilty because she's been in the mix of this whole meth cooking operation, he absorbs her of any guilt so that she can go free and she won't have to face any criminal charges from the police. So even in his darkest moments, he's still trying to protect his wife. I also thought there was a similar moment in Better Call Saul where at the very end, again, Jimmy is trying to absolve, what's the word? I'm saying the wrong word, but it's basically he's trying to make sure that Kim, who's his wife, and you know they've been divorced now, but Kim doesn't face any criminal prosecution, any charges for any of the things that she's done whilst being connected to Jimmy, aka Saul. So he has this moment where he's saying, look, Kim's innocent, she didn't have anything to do with it. So I thought both Walter and Jimmy, who do I call him, Jimmy, Saul, or Gene? I'm going to stick with Saul. Both Jimmy and both Saul have this moment where they both say, listen, we're still protecting the ones that we love. They shouldn't go down like we are going to go down if we go down. You know, so it's this thing of there is still something in there that you know we care about the ones that we love. So when Better Call Saul ended, that episode, Saul gone, I must admit it ended in a way that made me feel a little bit sad. It probably wasn't the ending that I would have written, but again, you know what, I'm not the writer. I think Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, you know, they've written an absolutely brilliant show, but I also feel like it was the right ending. And I think as a viewer, you can't always have the ending you want. And just because it doesn't have the ending that you want, doesn't mean that it's a bad ending. It was an ending that just made me feel sad, and it made me feel a bit heavy, and I was kind of happy as well, if that makes any sense. You know, I was sad that it ended. I'm sad that how, you know, Jimmy's character ended. You know, I was sad with how it was left, but it felt like the right, justified ending. And in a way, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant ending that I couldn't predict. And I think if you can predict an ending, that's probably not a good sign. It's maybe a sign of lazy writing if everyone can guess how your show or your movie is going to end. So it was probably the right ending. With Better Call Saul, I do feel like it's the best thing I've watched in 2022. I feel like it's the best show I've seen in a very, very long time. And again, you know, credit to Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould and the showrunners. Great. So we come down to the ending of this video. I'm going to wrap it up in a few minutes, which is, which of these two shows do I think is the best show? Is it Breaking Bad or is it Better Call Saul? So, pros of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is one of the best things I've ever seen. I'm actually going to watch it again at some stage, probably from the beginning. When I watched Breaking Bad, I was a single man. Then I met a lady who became my wife, and I said to her, please watch Breaking Bad again, and she watched it, and again she loved it. So it's like I became a salesman for Breaking Bad. Told everyone that I knew that you should watch Breaking Bad. Told my sister to watch it. Told my family members to watch it. You know, made a mixtape as a result of it. Started rapping about it. Man, yeah, absolutely loved Breaking Bad. With Better Call Saul, I was a bit like, yeah, is it going to be good? Is it going to be alright? And I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. I thought there were slow moments to it. And actually, if I'm honest, with some of those earlier seasons, yes, you know, I tried to be on the ball when it came out, but there were probably times when I didn't watch an episode as soon as it came out because it was a bit of a slow burn. And with Better Call Saul, you always think, well, I know how it's going to end. I know where it's going to go. With Breaking Bad, you didn't know that because there was nothing else to relate it to. But with Better Call Saul, you knew that essentially this show is going to end at the start of Breaking Bad. So I kind of know Jimmy McGill is going to become this character Saul Goodman. He's going to go full Saul Goodman, and that's how we're going to see him, like we see him in season 2 of Breaking Bad, which is when we first see Saul Goodman. So you kind of knew how it was going to get there. You just thought with Better Call Saul, there's certain characters. There's Kim Wexler, there's Nacho, there's Chuck. his brother, and you're thinking, well, we don't see any of those characters in Breaking Bad, so we kind of know these characters are either going to move away or maybe they're going to die. So we're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. We kind of have a rough idea about their destinies. With Better Call Saul, it still took me for surprise. So it didn't just end in a place where you're thinking, right, okay, now this is where Breaking Bad begins. It also did the flash forward thing. It teased us for 5 seasons with these black and white introduction shots of Gene, the character Gene, who Saul, changes his name and he's got a new alias and he becomes Gene. And it did the flash forward thing, so it jumps even further into the future after Breaking Bad. So much of season 6 takes place after the events of Breaking Bad. So the story continued. So it wasn't just a prequel, it was the aftermath of Breaking Bad as well. So took the story further. Again, you don't know what's going to happen with this Saul character now, with his alias Gene. Where is that going to go? What is he doing? What does his life look like after the events of Breaking Bad? And therefore, it took it to a place where it was new, it was interesting, it was exciting. And I really appreciated that. I really liked that. And yeah, again, the ending, took my breath away. The show constantly took my breath away. It created characters. It did a prequel thing where it told the story of characters who I never knew before, made me like them, made me really engage with them. They were really interesting. Yes, it had some characters in the prequel that we also saw in Breaking Bad, like Tuco, and and Gus Fring and other characters. But it just made it made you care about these characters in such a way that I didn't expect. Absolutely love Better Call Saul. Best thing I've seen this year. So here we go. We'll come down to the drum roll. Which show is the better show? Who did it better? And for me, before I reveal my thoughts, let me just say again, thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please support the channel. Would really appreciate your support. So I'm going to say, guys, and I would love to know what you think in the comment section, but for me, the winner of these 2 shows is advert break, come back. For me, it's Breaking Bad. It's still Breaking Bad, but they are so close to each other. In fact, I jumped on IMDb. I mean, it's my opinion, but I jumped on IMDb just to check what the general ratings for both of these 2 shows were. The overall rating for Better Call Saul is 8.9, I believe, 8.9 out of 10. And the overall rating for Breaking Bad is 9.5. But I mean, 8.9 Better Call Saul, that's big. That's a big deal, man. If I created anything that was a 8.9 rating, I'd be buzzing. You know what I'm saying? It's like people absolutely love your work. I love to do an 8.9. So yeah, for me, it's still Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is the bee's knees. Breaking Bad, still in my mind, is still one of the greatest shows of all time. A great idea, original idea, I'd say. But then again, some people might compare it to Weeds and say, well, Weeds had a very similar idea. But if my memory serves me right, that was about a lady who was selling drugs in a local area. I have to go back and watch it. So yeah, I just thought it was an original idea. I thought it was really good. It was gripping. It was entertaining. It was shot fantastically well. So was Better Call Saul. But for me, Breaking Bad edges it a little bit. If you sent me to a desert island and I could only take, one box set and I had to choose between Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, I would take Breaking Bad. I still thought Better Call Saul was absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Can't say it enough. One of the best things I've seen this year. Absolutely brilliant. And if you haven't seen these shows, can I encourage you? It's like, it's just TV brilliance. One of the things I was going to say at the start of this stream, and I forgot to say it, is I feel like we're living in a golden age of TV. So, the days when you'd watch TV and it'd be, very simple camera setup, easy watch, you can watch it as background. I feel like we're getting so many shows. Maybe that's the rise of all of these networks. It's the rise of Netflix, where there are so many different places you can watch great TV. You don't just have 4 channels like we used to have in the UK, BBC 1, BBC 2, ITV Channel 4. You've got so many streaming networks. so much great TV, so much great foreign TV. It's not just about British TV or US TV. You know, there are great Spanish shows, great German, great French shows, great, you know, shows from the Far East. You know, some brilliant TV. So we're living in the golden age of TV, and you know, for me, I think about things like Game of Thrones. You know, Game of Thrones, I think, was a game changer. Game of Thrones, absolute game changer. You know, you start having watch parties. Well, I did anyway, you know, where you're getting together with your friends to watch this 1 hour of TV once a week, get together. It's bigger than going to the movies, this thing of you're so excited. And watching TV, you know, at home as well, it's such a big deal. You know, you get excited for your show, especially, you know, if you haven't, you can't binge watch it, you having to wait weekly for your new episode to come out. Some of the TV we're seeing, where you're getting millions and millions of pounds spent on an episode of TV, seeing some absolutely classic, brilliant, wonderful things. So yeah, Better Call Saul is definitely up there for me as, you know, one of the best shows that has come out in the past 5 years. And you know what, Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, all of you guys in the background, all of you directors, all of you writers, all of you producers, all of you actors who've taken part, thank you so much. Let me thank you from the bottom of my heart for the journey that you've taken me on. It's been absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful to see. I've really enjoyed it. I've been really entertained by it. It's been absolutely fantastic. So long may it continue. I wonder what happens next. I wonder what happens next. I wonder what Vince Gilligan has up his sleeve next. I don't think we need any more spin-offs from Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, by the way, because it's beautiful. Let it stand as it is. Let's not have any more spin-offs. Let's not try, you know, milk it for all we can. Let's leave it as it is. It stands alone. It has its place in history. Both of those shows have their place in history as absolutely brilliant shows. Let's leave it at that. But I'd be interested to see what he does next. You know, what other interesting creative ideas is he going to come up with? I'm looking forward to it. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there by saying, yeah, Breaking Bad is the one. Breaking Bad is the one for me, but it's just my opinion. That is my opinion. Maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you think Better Call Saul is levels above, or maybe you don't, but I'd love to know what you think. So this video is coming to its end. My first ever live stream is coming to an end. So please, whatever you do, well, just do this. Please go to the comment section, leave a comment, let me know, what do you think? Which is the better show for you? What episode stands out for you? I think, personally, Ozymandias, Season 5, Episode 14 of Breaking Bad is one of the best things I've ever seen. Brilliant. But there were other brilliant episodes. But, you know, if that episode's a 10, other episodes might have been a 9.5, but still absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I loved it. Shout out to all of those guys. Shout out to all of those great characters. Shout out to Dean Norris. Every time I see Dean Norris, I always think, oh man, you know, yeah, it's just, I always think back to Breaking Bad and stuff like that. So yeah, just brilliant. You know, you see Anna Gunn in something and you're thinking, oh, it's Skylar. Or, you know, you see Dean, you think Hank. His name just slipped my memory for a second because I've just been talking for ages. You know, Jesse Pinkman, what a character. But then again, brilliant characters in Better Call Saul as well. Absolutely fantastic characters. You know, whenever I see Michael Mando again, I'm going to just think, oh, it's Nacho Varga, man. You know, just brilliant. So it's been an absolutely brilliant journey. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you thought of these two shows. Whilst you're watching this video, please do me a favour. Give the video a like. It'll help to bump it up the YouTube algorithm because I need your support. And yeah, please subscribe to the channel as well. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time I do one of these videos. I'm going to try do some more live videos. Again, listen, this is the first time I've done it. So please don't, you know, hold me to it. But, you know, maybe on a Wednesday night, I'll try to do a video like this. And you can tune in, you can leave a comment, and maybe we'll have a bit of back and forth interaction, you know, talking about, you know, what's on TV, also the latest movies that we've seen. I just released a movie review of The Invitation, horror movie starring Natalie Emmanuel. That's on my YouTube channel, so please go over and watch that. Check out some of the other videos that I've released on there. Please check that out. Give it a like, leave a comment, you know. Give it a dislike if you really hate it, but you know, would really appreciate the likes. I'm a small channel. So yeah, guys, gonna wrap it up there, but can I just say thank you so much for watching this video. We've been on for 45 minutes. I am tired, man. 45 minutes, gonna sign out. Stay tuned for the next video that I release. I'll be watching some movies, I'll do some movie reviews, watching some TV as well. Might do some trailer reactions if there's any new trailers that are coming out this week. And yeah, I will catch you again soon in the very near future. Thank you for watching Marcus Loves Movies. I'm gonna go say hi to the missus now. I think we're gonna have a glass of Prosecco and chill, put our feet up and watch some TV. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening or rest of the day, whenever you're watching this, and I will catch you again soon. So until the next time, guys, please take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Adios.